Cashier looked down at me not knowing I own the supermarket. I, 34 years old, own 2 supermarket stores from my city. I hired a manager a couple years ago to manage both stores as I wanted to explore other business opportunities in other fields. For the past 5 years I've let management deal with my supermarket business and also moved an hour away from my stores. I visit both of my stores a couple of times every couple of months to check that the place is running correctly. Sometimes management is surprised to see me just wandering around or checking expired food. This past year, I had a bigger project that I ended up putting all of my time on, and I ended up not being able to check my stores in person. One of my business partners and I had a meeting near one of my stores at one point. I told him that I owned that store, and he asked me how it was doing. I told him that I hired a great manager that manages everything and gives me monthly reports and decisions that he has been making. After the meeting ended, I asked my partner if he wanted to get sushi because my market sold sushi and they can even make it fresh and can make orders as well based on his preference. He agreed, and we both went inside. As we entered the supermarket, I noticed several new faces among the staff and noticed that some of the shelves were relocated. I wasn't surprised though, considering that I hadn't been around for quite some time. We made our way to the sushi counter and I was proud that everything around me was neatly prepared. It was clear that my store was maintaining its high standards and I was going to tell my management about how good the store was while I was gone. While I waited in line, my partner and I both heard a bunch of yelling from the nearby register. She was having a heated discussion with a customer. My partner and I turned our focus back to the sushi counter where it was our turn to order. I noticed the sushi chef as I was the one who hired him back in the day, and he greeted me happily. I made a small conversation with him and told him what me and my partner had wanted. He gave a nod and told us that he will begin making our sushi. I told him that we were just going to grab some drinks and come back, and he nodded and told us that it will be ready by then. As we turned back to the sushi counter, the same cashier, who was having a heated discussion with the previous customer, came and approached us. "I'm sorry, but you can't consume those here without paying first. It's store policy," she said, with a stern tone. I told her that we weren't planning on drinking it here, and we were going to pay for it. She eyed us and said, "I just wanted to make sure you guys weren't shoplifting or anything." "I'll be watching you guys," she said with her tone sounding more like she was trying to accuse us with something. My business partner looked at me and began to laugh, and I suddenly felt embarrassed. My own staff started accusing me of stealing in front of my business partner. You can now check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more.